On the show, Mithun Chand. He's the ED of Kaveri Seeds. Mr. Chand, thank you for joining in. So to start with, great EBITDA growth and even stronger profit growth. What is leading to this strength in your profitability and expansion in your margins?
If you compare to previous years, we have grown better in non-cotton crops, as you were telling in the previous quarter, saying that we are focusing more on non-cotton crops. And if you see as a percentage, non-cotton crops for the first half is only 52% compared to 60% last year. So that has helped us to have a better margins compared to previous years. And overall, we were able to control the expenditure to some extent. And operational efficiency have also helped us to have a strong EBITDA margin this year. And if you see in the last year to this year, we have grown by more than 200 basis points in terms of EBITDA margins. That helped us for a better profitability compared to previous years. And the other point is that compared to first half to second half, we had a bit of other income. Other income is basically returns from the investments that we do in the mutual funds, especially debt-related funds. So that some got redeemed in the first half. So these two has given us a good growth in terms of the profitability. But living standalone in terms of the minus other income also, if we take out other income from the profitability, even then we have grown much better. And if you see in the crop-wise segment, the profitable crops like maize, rice and vegetables has contributed a lot for us in the first half. So these have helped us to grow a lot.
Okay. Your margins, like you mentioned, have expanded. But the question is there further scope for expansion? And if yes, what would be the drivers going ahead? And where can, sort of margin sustain?
For other couple of years, because as we are focusing more on non-cotton crops, and definitely our EBITDA should be much better than the cotton crops. So as a combination, as a mix, we'll be growing much in non-cotton crops. That should help the other crop by other 150 to 200 basis points in the next coming years.
Given your pan-India presence, if you could share with us some trends that you're seeing across states and across crops for Kaveri Seeds?
If you see the overall scenario, we are present across India. I think we are the only company who is present across all states and operate in most of the crops. In that scenario, if we had two back-to-back good years. We had a very good monsoon last year. We had a very good monsoon this year as well. And if you see across India, most of the tanks, wells, and even the groundwater are improved a lot. So this gave confidence to farmer, and the productivity is also much better than compared to previous years. No doubt, in some areas it got affected by heavy rainfall. We have seen some quality issues and productivity issues in some parts, but overall the sentiment is really good. And we have seen good demand for the products, especially agri products. We have seen the entire chain. We have seen a huge demand in the rural India. So that itself shows the farmers' willingness to spend more, because as we see more productivity in the coming years, crops. So that's a good sentiment which is driving. And I think by this type of rainfall and the productivity, we see that this may continue for another year also.
Do you think there's a possibility of a bumper Kharif crop in FY21? Can you share with us the outlook for the second half of the year, and if possible for the next year as well? What is it that you're factoring in?
See, the first half is a major half. In fact, first quarter is a major quarter for us. Second half, we do sell some quantity, but it's not a major quarter for us. And basically, in second half, maize moves well. But by seeing the present sentiment, we see a decline in the maize sentiment as the commodity prices are all not that attractive. And even some state governments like Telangana are discouraging maize crop. So we see alternate crops coming up. Basically, the alternate crops might be wheat or rice, and in some parts, grams. But in terms of Kaveri, yes, we think that the loss in the maize might be compensated between maize, wheat, and vegetables. So as a company, we don't see much of a hit, but in terms of the maize sentiment, the crop might come down a bit compared to previous year, because even if you see the base of last year, we had a very good Rabi maize crop. So based on the base and based on the sentiment, we see a slight decline in the second half, but that should not make much impact on Kaveri. Going forward, by seeing the sentiment, we are very positive on the crops like non-cotton crops, and definitely we will gain in those crops. If you see the non-cotton performance, especially like maize, rice, we have grown by more than 40% in both maize and rice. Even the industry has not grown much. In fact, made the industry has slightly declined by 0.5%, whereas in rice, hybrid rice, the industry has grown by 5 to 6%, but we have grown close to 40% in both the crops. And in vegetables, we have grown 100%. Even though the base is small, but we have grown by more than 100%. So these are the drivers for our growth, and I think this will continue for medium term to long term. I mean, to say 3 to 5 years trend these crops. And technically, if you talk about next year, definitely we see these crops contributing well, and I think we can grow much better than the industry in the coming years also.
Mr. Chand, many thanks for joining us today on ET Now and just helping our viewers out with what exactly can we expect from Kaveri Seeds going forward.